The Thin Man by Dashiell Hammett, Chapter 28. I said to Guild, "When you say bring 'em in, they bring 'em in, don't they?" "Wait," he told me, "this is more'n you think." He addressed the fat red-haired man. "Go ahead, Flint, let's have it." Flint wiped his mouth with the back of a hand. "He's a wild cat for fair, the young fellow. He don't look rough, but man, he didn't want to come along, I can tell you that. And can he run?" Guild growled, "You're a hero, and I'll see the commissioner about your medal right away, but never mind that now. Talk turkey." "I wasn't saying I did anything great," Flint protested. "I was just—" "I don't give a damn what you did," Guild said. "I want to know what he did." "Yes, sir, I was getting to that. I relieved Morgan at 8 o'clock this morning, and everything went along smooth and quiet as per usual, with not a creature stirring, as the fellow says, till along about 10 minutes after 2, and then what do I hear but a key in the lock?" He sucked in his lips and gave us a chance to express our amazement. "The Wolf Dame's apartment," Guild explained to me. "I had a hunch." "And what a hunch!" Flint exclaimed, practically top-heavy with admiration. "Man, what a hunch!" Guild glared at him, and he went on hastily. "Yes, sir, a key, and then a door opens and this young fella comes in." He grinned proudly, affectionately at Gilbert. "Scared stiff he looked, and when I went for him he was out and away like a streak, and it wasn't till the first floor that I caught him. And then by golly he put up a tussle, and I had to bat him in the eye to tone him down. He don't look tough, but—" "What'd he do in the apartment?" Guild asked. "He didn't have a chance to do nothing. You mean you jumped him without waiting to see what he was up to?" Guild's neck bulged over the edge of his collar, and his face was as red as Flint's hair. "I thought it was best not to take no chances." Guild stared at me with angry, incredulous eyes. I did my best to keep my face blank. He said in a choking voice, "That'll do, Flint. Wait outside." The red-haired man seemed puzzled. He said, "Yes, sir," slowly. "Here's his key." He put the key on Guild's desk and went to the door. There he twisted his head over a shoulder to say, "He claims he's Clyde Wynant's son." He laughed merrily. Guild, still having trouble with his voice, said, "Oh, he does he?" "Yeah, I seen him somewhere before. I got an idea he used to belong to Big Shorty Dolan's mob. Seems to me I used to see him around—" "Get out!" Guild snarled, and Flint got out. Guild groaned from deep down in his big body. "That mug gets me. Big Shorty Dolan's club. Christ!" He shook his head hopelessly and addressed Gilbert. "Well, son?" Gilbert said, "I knew I shouldn't have done it." "That's a fair start," Guild said genially. His face was becoming normal again. "We all make mistakes. Pull yourself up a chair and let's see what we can do about getting you out of the soup. Want anything for that eye?" "No, thank you. It's quite all right." Gilbert moved a chair 2 or 3 inches towards Guild and sat down. "Did that bum smack you just to be doing something?" No, it was my fault. I did resist." "Oh, well," Guild said, "nobody likes to be arrested, I guess. Now what's the trouble?" Guild looked at me with his one good eye. "You're in as bad a hole as Lieutenant Guild wants to put you," I told him. "You'll make it easy for yourself by making it easy for him." Guild nodded earnestly, "And that's a fact." He settled himself comfortably in his chair and asked in a friendly tone, "Where'd you get the key?" "My father sent it to me in his letter." He took a white envelope from his pocket and gave it to Guild. I went around behind Guild and looked at the envelope over his shoulder. The address was typewritten, Mr. Gilbert Wynant to the Cortland, and there was no postage stamp stuck on it. "Where'd you get it?" I asked. "It was at the desk when I got in last night around 10 o'clock. I didn't ask the clerk how long it had been there, but I don't suppose it was there when I went out with you, or they'd have given it to me." Inside the envelope were 2 sheets of paper covered with the familiar unskillful typewriting. Guild and I read together. "Dear Gilbert, if all these years have gone by without my having communicated with you, it is only because your mother wished it so, and if now I break the silence with a request for your assistance, it is because only great need could make me go against your mother's wishes. Also, you are a man now, and I feel that you yourself are the one to decide whether or not we should go on being strangers or whether we should act in accordance with our ties of blood. That I am in an embarrassing situation now in connection with Julia Wolf's so-called murder I think you know, and I trust that you still have remaining enough affection for me to at least hope that I am in all ways guiltless of any complicity therein, which is indeed the case. I turn to you now for help in demonstrating my innocence once and for all to the police and to the world, with every confidence that even could I not count on your affection for me, I nevertheless could count on your natural desire to do anything within your power to keep unblemished the name that is yours and your sister's, as well as your father's. I turn to you also because while I have a lawyer who is able and who believes in my innocence and who is leaving no stone unturned to prove it, and have hopes of engaging Mr. Nick Charles to assist him, I cannot ask either of them to undertake what is, after all, a patently illegal act. Nor do I know anybody else except you that I dare confide in. What I wish you to do is this. Tomorrow go to Julia Wolf's apartment at 411 East 54th Street, to which the enclosed key will admit you, and between the pages of a book called The Grand Manner you will find a certain paper or statement which you are to read and destroy immediately. You are to be sure you destroy it completely, leaving not so much as an ash, and when you have read it you will know why this must be done and will understand why I have entrusted this task to you. In the event that something should develop to make a change in our plans advisable, I will call you on the telephone late tonight. If you do not hear from me, I will telephone you tomorrow evening to learn if you have carried out my instructions and to make arrangements for a meeting. I have every confidence that you will realize the tremendous responsibility I am placing on your shoulders and that my confidence is not misplaced. Affectionately, your father. Wyman's sprawling signature was written in ink beneath your father. Guild waited for me to say something. I waited for him. After a little of that, he asked Gilbert, and did he phone? No, sir. How do you know? I asked. Didn't you tell the operator not to put any calls through? Yes, I did. I was afraid you'd find out who it was if he called up while you were there, but he'd have left some kind of message with the operator, I think, and he didn't. Then you haven't been seeing him? No. And he didn't tell you who killed Julia Wolfe? No. You were lying to Dorothy? He lowered his head and nodded at the floor. I suppose it was jealousy, really. He looked up at me now, and his face was pink. You see, Dora used to look up to me. I think I knew more than anybody else about almost everything, and, she'd come to me if there was anything she wanted to know, and she always did what I told her, and then when she got to seeing you, it was different. She looked up to you and respected you more. She naturally would. I mean, she'd have been silly if she hadn't, because there's no comparison, of course. But I suppose I was jealous and resented, well, not exactly resented it, because I looked up to you, too. But I wanted to do something to impress her again. Show off, I guess you'd call it. And when I got that letter, I pretended I'd been seeing my father, and he told me who committed those murders, so she'd think I knew things even you didn't. He stopped, out of breath, and wiped his face with a handkerchief. I outweighted Guild again until presently he said, Well, I guess there ain't been a great deal of harm done, Sonny, if you're sure you ain't doing harm by holding back some other things we ought to know. The boy shook his head. No, sir, I'm not holding back anything. You don't know anything about that knife and chain your mother gave us? No, sir, and I didn't know a thing about it till after she had given it to you. How was she? I asked. Oh, she's all right, I think, though she said she was going to stay in bed today. Guild narrowed his eyes. What's the matter with her? Hysteria, I told him. She and the daughter had a row last night, and she blew up. A row about what? God knows, one of those feminine brainstorms. Guild said, and scratched his chin. Was Flint right in saying you didn't get a chance to hunt for your paper? I asked the boy. Yes, I hadn't even had time to shut the door when he ran at me. They're grand detectives I got working for me, Guild growled. Didn't he yell boo when he jumped out at you? Never mind. Well, son, I can do one of two things, and the which depends on you. I can hold you for a while, or I can let you go in exchange for a promise that you'll let me know as soon as your father gets in touch with you, and let me know what he tells you and where he wants you to meet him, if any. I spoke before Gilbert could speak. You can't ask that of him, Guild. It's his own father. I can't, huh? He scowled at me. Ain't it for his father's good if he's innocent? I said nothing. Guild's face cleared slowly. All right then, son, suppose I put you on a kind of parole. If your father or anybody else asks you to do anything, will you promise to tell them you can't because you give me your word of honor you wouldn't? The boy looked at me. I said, That sounds reasonable. Gilbert said, Yes, sir, I'll give you my word. Guild made a large gesture with one hand. Okay, run along. The boy stood up, saying, Thank you very much, sir. He turned to me. Are you going to be... Wait for me outside, I told him, if you're not in a hurry. I will. Goodbye, Lieutenant Guild, and thank you. He went out. Guild grabbed his telephone and ordered the Grand Manor and its contents found and brought to him. That done, he clasped his hands behind his head and rocked back in his chair. So what? It's anybody's guess, I said. Look here, you don't still think Wyman didn't do it. What difference does it make what I think? You've got plenty on him now with what Mimi gave you. It makes a lot of difference, he assured me. I'd like a lot to know what you think and why. My wife thinks he's trying to cover up somebody else. Is that so? I was never one to belittle women's intuition, and if you don't mind me saying so, Mrs. Charles is a mighty smart woman. Who does she think it is? She hadn't decided the last I heard. He sighed. Well, maybe that paper he sent the kid for will tell us something. But the paper told us nothing that afternoon. Guild's men could not find it, could not find a copy of the Grand Manor in the dead woman's rooms.